to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Weathering with You, the newest animated feature by Makoto Shinkai, who is also the director of the critically acclaimed, highly successful movie Your Name, which is also one of my favorite movies of all time. I was very excited for the release of Weathering with You. I've been waiting for it for a long time, ever since it was released in Japan. Like I said, Your Name is one of my favorite movies of all time, so this one for me had pretty high expectations, which is something I wish wasn't in my mind while I was watching it, but I did. I had really high expectations because I love Your Name so much. It's kind of unfair, I guess, because I feel like no one can really watch this movie without comparing it to Your Name, especially because they are pretty similar films. They look very similar. They deal with star-crossed lovers, which of course is the majority of Shinkai's movies, but they do have a lot of familiar elements, and it's going to be nearly impossible to watch this movie with just brand new eyes, unless you haven't watched Your Name, of course. But if you have watched Your Name, then it's just bound to happen. You're going to compare the two. Weathering with You is about Horoka, a boy who runs away from his home. He lives in this tiny island and he runs away to Tokyo because he doesn't want to live with his parents anymore. He wants to live in Tokyo, even if it means he has to grind and he has to sleep on the streets. Of course, it's not ideal, but for him, it's way better than living at home. And of course, he ends up meeting this girl who he soon finds out is a sunshine girl. Sunshine girl is someone who brings the sunshine whenever it's raining, whenever the weather is bad. They literally pray the rain away. Together, they form a little business to try to get money out of this magical thing that she has. I am going to be talking about spoilers because I want to discuss this movie in detail. And if you haven't watched it yet and you are planning to watch it, then I suggest you maybe stop this video, save it in your watch later playlist or something like that, and then watch it after you've watched the movie. But if you don't care about spoilers, then keep watching, I guess. The first thing that I want to discuss, of course, is the animation. The animation in any of Makoto Shinkai's movies is just outstanding, and it's the best I've ever seen. When I first watched Your Name, I was completely blown away by the animation, and I think Weathering with You definitely takes it up a notch. They of course added the element of rain, which is really hard to animate. At my screening, they showed this interview after the movie ended with the director, and he was saying how the detail into animating the rain and drawing every single drop whenever it was on their face or something like that was just extremely difficult and a very lengthy process, and it's something that definitely must be respected. I truly think that his work, his movies, have been one of the most beautifully animated movies I've ever seen. I especially love the attention to detail, not only of course in the rain, but in the backdrops. There was so much attention to detail just in the background alone. Like every single element of that background was carefully drawn and thought about. It's just so incredible to watch, especially on a really big screen. I was able to notice a lot of just little things, little trinkets here and there. Okay, now let's talk about our main characters, Horoka and Hina. Horoka is a boy who is 16 years old. Of course, like I said before, he ran away from home because he wants to live in Tokyo. He doesn't want to live at home. It seems like he is a little bit of an angsty teenager. He befriends Mr. Suga, who offers his home in exchange for him working at his tabloid magazine. I don't know if it's a tabloid, but it's like a conspiracy magazine. Also living there is Natsumi, who we later find out that it's his niece, but throughout the whole movie, we think that is his mistress because that's what Horoka assumes. And then we have Hina. Hina is presumably an 18-year-old. We later find out her real age. We can see from early in the film that she lost her mom and now lives only with her younger brother Nagi. Like I said before, Makoto Shinkai is known for his stories about star-crossed lovers. We always have the two main characters who want to be together, but they can't because of reasons, sometimes supernatural reasons, such as in Your Name, and then in this movie because she is a sunshine girl. Knowing this, it did surprise me that the two main characters actually met very early in the movie. They met at the McDonald's when she served him that burger, and then after that, throughout the whole movie, they are basically inseparable. Something that I really loved about Weathering with You was the side characters. Even more so than Your Name, I thought these characters were a lot more likable, a lot more fleshed out, and had their own storylines apart from the two main characters, of course. First, we have Mr. Suga. He has his daughter who he isn't able to see because of the rain and because she has asthma. He is this guy who basically speaks his mind. He is kind of rough looking, he drinks, he smokes, and he does this job that is just not very tasteful. Later we find out that his wife died, which kind of explains why he has such a messy life now. I honestly really loved his storyline with his daughter. I thought it was very sweet and we got to understand this character on a deeper level. Then we have Natsumi, who of course is helping him with the conspiracy magazine while she's also looking for other jobs. This is another character that you kind of feel for because she is unable to get a job. She is unable to find someone who really cares for her. And even though she seems like this happy-go-lucky person, you can kind of sense a sadness in her as well. Another side character that I completely loved was Nagi, who is Hina's brother. That little boy is a womanizer, he is a player, a ladies' man, and he is not afraid to show it and let everybody know. He even ends up teaching our protagonist about the ladies, which turns him into his senpai. I really liked his character. He was really funny, but you could also sense that he really cared for his sister. So yeah, I thought Shinkai did a great job with the side characters in this movie. Like I said before, I thought in that aspect it was better than Your Name. I thought the side characters in Your Name were just kind of there. I really like Mitsuha's little sister though. I think she's really funny, as well as Hina's little brother. Maybe they should meet. Another thing that I really want to talk about is the music in the movie. I am completely in love with both soundtracks, Your Name and Weathering With You. It was done by the same band, Radwimps. I feel like it adds something so unique to both movies. The music itself, just the score, not the songs, the score is absolutely beautiful. I've been listening to it, but also the songs. It adds kind of like a music video type of vibe to the movie. I know that there are some people who don't like kind of like that music video type vibe because it might feel kind of out of place. For me, I really like that, but I can understand how sometimes it can take you out of the movie. Okay, now let's talk about some things that I didn't particularly like. One of those things was the gun. I feel like the gun kind of took away a little bit from this movie. To me, it just didn't serve a purpose. I feel like the movie could have been exactly the same without the gun. When he saved Hina from those people that were, you know, the owners of a club or something like that, that could have happened without the gun. The fact that the police was looking for him, they could have been looking for him because he was missing from his home. It didn't necessarily have anything to do with the gun. So I just feel like the gun felt a little bit out of place. That scene at the end when it's Hodoka against the police officers and he's pointing the gun at them, it just didn't fit in with the movie for me. Throughout the whole movie, I could tell that Hodoka was kind of an unstable kid. He ran away from home, he was living on the streets, he took this gun and for some reason he took it with him, didn't leave it where he found it. He ended up pointing the gun at everybody, he ran away from the police like 5 times, and of course his huge decision at the end was one that was very selfish. But we'll get to the end in a little bit. Another thing I kind of didn't like is that Hina, I loved her character. I thought she was very sweet. I think she wasn't as fleshed out as I would have liked her to be. I know that in this movie, Hodoka was the main protagonist. She was the protagonist as well, but of course he had a bigger role in this movie. But I just thought that Hina was a little bit blander. I would have liked to see her personality a little bit more. Her struggling with the death of her mom, her struggling with, you know, disappearing. Of course, we saw that a little bit in the hotel when she was scared that she was disappearing. But that's the only moment where I felt that. I thought her little brother had more of a personality than her. Like I said, it's not a super huge deal. I still really like her character. I thought she's really sweet. Oh, by the way, that meal that she cooks for Hodoka when they're at her apartment, that looked delicious. I'm hungry. I also really wanted to know why Hodoka ran away from home. That was never really specified in the movie. They never really said why. What was the exact reason he ran away? And during the whole movie, it just made me speculate. He at one point, when he ate that burger, he said, "This is the best meal I've ever had in my 16 years of life," which made me think, then he must either be like really poor, maybe his family doesn't have enough money to really cook a really good meal like that, or to even eat McDonald's. I don't know, it just made me speculate, and I kind of wanted to know if there was an exact reason why he ran away, maybe something happened. It's not like a huge deal, it's just something that I was thinking throughout the movie. I was like, will they reveal it? Will they say it? It's not something that is a huge problem to me. It's just something I kind of had in my mind while I was watching it. Okay, let's talk about the ending, because that's probably the most shocking thing about this movie, the most unexpected thing. Hina is going to disappear. If she keeps praying the rain away, she's going to be disappearing slowly, and until she completely disappears, Tokyo will keep raining. This is when the big decision is made. First, I want to say that this really reminded me of Spirited Away, when Chihiro and Haku are falling from the sky and they're both holding hands and kind of just spinning as they fall through the skies. It really reminded me of Spirited Away, which was really nice. So Haruka has a decision to make. He either gets Hina back and it once again starts raining in Tokyo, or he pretty much lets her sacrifice herself for the clear skies in Tokyo. Ultimately, he decides that he'd rather be with her than see another clear sky in Tokyo. He made the decision to flood Tokyo to be with the girl that he loves. I feel like this definitely shocked probably everyone who was watching this movie. I honestly didn't think that that's what was going to happen. I thought, of course, happy ending, Tokyo clear skies, Hina and Haruka somehow were also gonna end up together. I thought maybe there was a loophole or something that they could do. And honestly, the more I think about it, the more I really like this ending, because it's something that goes really well with his character. Throughout this whole movie, he's being so kind of unstable, kind of selfish. He just makes really rash decisions. He makes these crazy decisions without really thinking of the consequences. He ran away from home. He went to Tokyo, even if he didn't know where he was going to live, what he was going to eat, how he was going to work, even while being underage. He didn't think any of it through, and I feel like that is what happened with this decision. Ultimately, he did what his heart wanted, and that was to be with Hina. So after these events, we find out that they actually haven't seen each other in 3 years, because he was sent back to his hometown until he finished high school. And when he does, he goes back to Tokyo and they find each other again and they hug, and it's a really nice reunion. It's something that also really differed from Your Name. In Your Name, kind of the same thing happened, where they were apart for a long time and then somehow they reunited. I really like this ending. It was very unexpected, and I think it was one of the best things about the movie. Oh, another thing I want to mention is the cameos. I was not expecting Taki and Mitsuha to show up in this movie. When Taki showed up, I was so confused, because he obviously came out from the shadows and then into the light, and of course you knew that this was an important person. I was like, that looks so much like Taki. Is it Taki? And then when he was at the jewelry shop and we see a little red ribbon in the back of the lady's head, I lost it. I got so happy when that happened. After the movie ended, when they showed that interview with Makoto Shinkai, he actually said that that day was the day that Mitsuha and Taki met again in the stairs. That was the ending of Your Name, when all of this was happening. So basically, Mitsuha has been going through all of the natural disasters that you can think of. That poor girl. Yeah, that just made me really happy, and I actually cried a little bit. I can't watch Your Name without literally sobbing. It's not just like a little tear. I sob whenever I watch that movie. That movie just hits me in a different way, which is why I actually like Your Name more than Weathering with You. This doesn't mean that Weathering with You is not a good movie. It's a really good movie. I really like it. I actually want to watch it again, because it was a much more happy and funny movie. It was really funny. But Your Name has something that I can't really explain. It's just something in the emotion, something in the combination of the visuals with the music, with the story of the star-crossed lovers, that just hits me in a way that I can't explain. But I really liked Weathering with You, and I recommend, if you haven't watched it, that you go watch it. Please let me know if you've watched it, what you thought of it, and if you still haven't watched it, even if you want to compare it to Your Name, just anything that you want to talk to me about this movie, let me know in the comments and I will respond. If you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe. Also, I have a playlist of other movie reviews that I've done in the past. I'm gonna start making even more movie reviews, so very excited for this year. Also, if you didn't catch it until right now that I'm gonna tell you, I kind of tried to dress like, I almost said Mitsuha, Hina. I just wanted you guys to know the effort that I made into my look today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.